And we are live. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Shop Talk Live. My name is Rick Ramirez. I'm also known as Rick's 2 Cents, along with my fellow co-host Steve from Steve Makes Everything.
Howdy, y'all.
Andy from Andy Bird Builds.
What's up, everyone?
And Roger from Roger Shop.
Howdy, howdy.
Looks like we're ready to have some people in the live. And
Roger from Mexico, actually.
Yeah.
our loyal fan, Clayton. Aloha from Hawaii, everyone. Please smash that like button. Thank you. So right before we went live, I had to kind of poke the bears at Steve a little bit. Those who have joined our Facebook group, I said it's kind of funny that people are learning our inside jokes to each other. That I tagged Steve in a post and said, I said, in the Christmas spirit, please post your coasters. And as everyone starts posting their coasters, they tag Steve in a post and said, if you need coasters, contact Steve.
Yeah. I posted one. I posted a glass one. I figured I'd do one that no one else has done.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. I had to. Yeah. They say you can only make fun of your friends. So there you go.
Yeah.
All the good fun.
I'm used to carrying the weight of the world around. So I can handle it.
David said, good evening, everyone. Cold here in Wisconsin, even colder tomorrow. Let's get ready to rumble. Yep.
Wisconsin.
Happy hump day, everybody. Happy hump day.
Wisconsin is almost like central Canada weather.
Yeah, it looks like there's two Wisconsins. ATG Restore says hello from Wisconsin. At work, but listening. Nice one.
Sweet.
So even more to say, people ask me all the time, why do I read all the comments and say to this exact point right here? He's not watching us. He just has us in his ear listening. So those two are at least joining us from the audio. Thank you. Appreciate you stopping in.
There's not much to see anyways. I mean, just, for...
The silver
I got my iguana shirt on today. So
yeah, Roger's got his...
Maybe I read it wrong. There's a lot to see.
Roger's got his muscle shirt on there. He's doing some flexing.
Nice one.
We might attract a different crowd if we keep this up.
Oh, look, we said greetings from
Latvia. Awesome.
Latvia, Europe.
yeah.
Nice one. So, Roger, you're still in Mexico?
Yep, be here till Sunday. Then have to fly back to the cold in Illinois.
So how have you been enjoying your little stay?
Oh, this is great. Other than today, it rained today, but otherwise it's been beautiful absolutely every day the last 2 weeks. So can't complain.
Nice one.
Nice.
I think I've had like one sunny day in the last week. It's rained every day.
You don't see the sun up there too much, do you?
This time of year, it depends. It's just we're going through there's a bit of one of these, rivers, atmospheric rivers right now. That's
Gotcha.
Just dropping a bit of rain. It's not heavy rain. It's just like a constant drizzle.
I like this name. Hard work, woodwork.
Hard work, woodwork. Love it.
Yeah, I like it.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Omaha.
Wet, dark Belgium.
Yeah. So we do have a global audience, which is outstanding.
Oh, that's where Paul is. He's in Belgium. Man, Paul, you do some crazy things, man. It's like, you need to send me your setting. Like
I don't even get it.
I saw some of these things, and then I saw a glimpse of like an old D1 in there, like a Exto D1, and it's like, holy cow.
Yeah.
I got thousands of dollars worth of laser technology, and I can't possibly do that.
So yeah, and that's a great point. Like I learned this in my previous career. You can have all the tools in the world, and it doesn't equal what Paul's doing. It doesn't equal just because you can buy a tool or buy a material does not equal. That's why I love those comments. Like, CNC does all the work for you. I get those comments all the time. Like, that's not like you didn't actually do that. The machine did that. I'm like, okay, yeah, you just don't understand.
Yeah, but the response to that is, well, that means a table saw does all the work for you too, right?
Exactly.
So those who are clues to what we're talking about, this is why you have to join our Facebook group, Shop Talk Live, to be able to brag and show some of your work. Phenomenal work that our subscribers are showing. I'm blown away. And just by like almost everyone, and I know we all have. We talk about it. Every single thing you make is not a success, right? There's trials and errors for reasons. We all have notebooks for reasons. But if you have some bragging rights, something you can post it up, man. I've been super shocked.
And feel free to leave comments that bash Rick for a change instead of me.
These,
I was going to ask Paul though. Paul, do you actually sell these images that you do? Because I think you should. If you're not,
Yeah, they're absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I did like baby Luke Skywalker and baby Princess Leia.
he said CNC tool is a helper.
Yes.
Is a tool or a helper? Sonia said, good evening from Illinois. Hello, hello. Roger and I are both from Illinois, but Roger's in Mexico today. But yeah, hello. It says, you guys are too kind. I can assure you, if I can do it, anyone can.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried the OnlyFans. Didn't work for me. Steve had better luck.
What can I say?
Don't be hard on yourself. There's an audience for everyone. You just
Doesn't
gotta
mean I can engrave a piece of canvas.
I should have probably taken my socks off before I started shooting videos of my feet.
probably.
Chris said, ask to see a job they've done on the CNC and see what they can say then.
Yep. Yeah, I'd say CNC is, and it's a, I don't know, table saw is a lot easier to use.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's only one speed and one feed, right?
Yeah.
Paul said, yes, they do, and they go up for sale.
Nice.
I'd say, man, even fellow laser, just because they own laser doesn't mean they could even attempt to make something like that. At the same token, doesn't mean they wouldn't appreciate the art. Like if you post something like that and it's for sale, like post a price. You never know, somebody might grab it.
I did show some of these to my wife the other day in hopes that some of it she would think rubs off that I could actually do that, but she was
like, I taught him this, babe. This is why they watch my live. This is why I'm getting globally famous. They know me in Belgium.
Well, they know her in Belgium too. Her head office is there, so
there you go. Paul says the fun ones like Luke don't sell. A lot of the interesting ones are limited audience. Yeah, they're just cool. I mean, like, that's the thing about art, right? It's not what it's all someone's willing to pay. Like, look at these things people sell. It's like a painting and it's all red. Like, how's that sell for $1 million? It's just completely a red canvas.
I was at the Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco years ago, and there's just like a piece of red plexiglass on the wall, like red acrylic, and it was like, okay, this is art. I got a whole shop full of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it for sale. You're out front, like I got some. Hello from California. Hey, Herb. Yeah, if you're joining the live, let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know where you're joining from for sure. And if you have any questions, obviously post them in the comments, and we will get to them in the order they come in. Paul said, I think most overthink the process.
Yeah, I don't think that's my problem. I hardly ever think.
No, like when I saw like the one where he had molded one color and then the canvas where it was just like 3 stripes with 3 different colors.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, no, there's a science to this. Like it's not just it's not like a tile, right? Where it's white and you put in black over it and you're creating a grayscale effect. Like, no,
it was the fox in the blue coat with the white collar. Now it's a little abstract, but the thought that went into it was way more than I would have put into it.
Right. Yeah. So you guys got to check that out. You got to join our Facebook group.
Yeah, and if you haven't connected to me on Facebook, do that. I haven't connected on you. I've randomly gone through a bunch of some of the heavy commenters on our group and said, "Hey, join me." Right, connect to my channel.
I was gonna buy the silverfox.com, but Steve said he'd sue me if I forwarded it to his channel. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, if you, yeah, just what I need.
He's like, don't do it, Rick. No, I'm serious. Don't do it.
It's only good humor until it's not.
You went too far. Indiana's in the building.
Yeah.
I've been seeing you put out a lot of new content lately, Andy.
Have I?
Yeah.
Yeah, this trying to wrap up the year.
It's cool.
Pushing myself. So
I
I
hit.
think
Go ahead.
my last video is coming out Sunday. Not
Nice.
ever, just for the year.
Nice.
My last video. No, I'm joking. But
That's how rumors get started.
I hit 3.3 million on YouTube like 4 or 5 days ago. Pretty cool.
on a short.
No. Period.
Total views.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere around 3 million too.
It's great.
Yeah,
I don't pay attention too much to that stuff. I rolled over 34,000 subscribers today. Thank you,
Good job.
anyone who's on the call that subscribes.
Yeah. Steve, I think that's how you keep the joy and keep creating videos. Don't look at the numbers.
Possibly, yeah.
Because the numbers can suck the joy out of it.
Yeah, analytics is a double-edged sword for sure.
It is. Yeah.
Also,
Like, I worked 12 hours on this video. How come it's only got 1,000 views?
so I saw this guy today on Facebook. It's a YouTube Facebook group, and it's like people trying to grow their channel. And he was like, "I make $120,000 a year. Ask me any questions you want." And I was laughing because I was like, all he did was get people to subscribe to him, because average video had 200 to 300 views. I'm like, you're not getting 200 to 300 views on 500 videos making $120,000 a year. Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, subscribers don't really matter anyway to advertisers, right? It's all views.
Right.
Count.
Yeah. It's
And retention.
Yeah.
Typically a good way to, what a lot of advertisers traditionally will do is they'll look at your last 10 videos and they'll take the views on your last 10 videos and they'll take an average, and that's the metric that they use.
It's so funny you said that, because I went to New York and I posted some videos on my vacation, right? And exactly what you just said, Andy. They said, "Rick, how come your last couple of videos didn't do, 30,000, 20,000 views?" I said, "It's at Niagara Falls on vacation with my family. It was a family vacation. It wasn't really meant for like a review. I'm just on vacation. I took a road trip, cross-country road trip." They were like, "Oh." But I don't even think they dug into it. They just literally did exactly what you just said.
Yep.
You looked at the last 10 videos and it was like Niagara Falls. It was my whole trip, my road trip. I was at the Empire State Building.
Uh-oh.
Go ahead. So you can read this one.
Okay, looking to dive into 3D printing with Bamboo A1 with Amsterdam. I think you mean AMS. Can you tell me where to get good tutorials and how to store the PLA spools, please? My fault. Yep. Okay, to store your spools, when you're not going to use them, don't take them out of the box or the wrapper. Leave them wrapped up tight until you're absolutely going to use them. If you have partial spools you need to store, get yourself an airtight, moisture-tight tote and some pellet and desiccant. Put it in a container, keep it inside that tote. When the desiccant changes color, spread it out in the oven or in the microwave, dry it out, and you can use it again. That's what I store mine in. They're in Sterilite's a brand, and it's a watertight, airtight tote. It's got a good gasket seal all the way around it.
I didn't know you could reuse them. I've always thrown the bag out.
Some bags have Ziplocs on them, some don't.
Right.
Most don't. The bamboo refills do not, but I go through them so fast, so that's a kind of a moot point for me. And my AMS, it has compartments in it for desiccant. They're not real big, but there are files. You can find them on Thingiverse and on Bamboo, in the Bamboo Suite too, on printing your own desiccant containers, and a little spot for not a humidistat, but a humidifier, humid level indicator. Let's put it that way. Humidity level indicator.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, it is a hydrometer, and it will show you your moisture level in there. And you're also able to view the desiccant to see when it changes color to take it out and dry it.
It's the one thing I remember from high school physics.
There you go.
I thought it was going to be a Canadian thing because weed is so popular.
For some reason, it just escaped me what that was for some reason.
I have to say, I've been enjoying I've got the bamboo P1S. Yeah, is it P1 right? Am I saying that right?
Oh, yeah, P1.
Yeah. I picked it up on Black Friday, and I've been really enjoying just making random stuff. Right now, I'm making this LED Christmas light thing. It's printing right now. I don't have a camera to show you, but
okay, hold on 1 second. Hold on. So it's literally running in the background right now?
Oh yeah.
Because a reason I'm saying that is because you can't hear it.
Yeah.
Directional.
I mean, I can hear it slightly, but it's not loud.
No, we can't hear it though. We can't hear it.
Well, the newest firmware that Bamboo Labs has come up with has quieted our printers down a lot.
Wow,
I've done a couple of our live streams with X1 Carbon running, and you haven't been able to hear it. When I first got it, though, you could sure hear it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's running probably, I don't know, 15 feet away.
Yeah, when Roger was first running all his printers, it sounded like a helicopter in Vietnam War.
Of course. What's your microphone? Is it a shotgun microphone? Like it's pointed at you and it can't hear anything else?
Yeah. I have a Yeti mic, shotgun mic. But it's pointed in the general direction.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah. Very cool.
Well, some of the newer, like this Shure microphone that I have, the thing sees a hole about, that big.
Yeah.
So, like, I could have a fan running right here, and you wouldn't hear it.
Yeah. But I've been really enjoying just the whole Bamboo ecosystem with their app and the projects in there. Again, I messed with 3D printing probably 5 years ago and hadn't messed with much since. And the ease of use blows me away and this probably just isn't Bamboo, but especially comparing it to CNC machines, it's just so easy to create with 3D printing. I wish CNC routers were the same way, and maybe they'll get there one day.
18 years.
I don't have a lot of faith that they'll get there, but well, I mean, if you're comparing it to a 3D printer from 5 years ago, it was put some glue down, hope everything sticks, and now all the workspace.
Yeah, then you're constantly tweaking your bed level, and you're replacing springs, and you're doing all kinds of things all the time. I remember those days quite well.
I think.
What about shipping this time of year? Ice cold to house temperature. Any issues? Bring it in and let your filament come up to room temperature. I wouldn't try to take it out of a sub-zero box and probably snap.
Well, as soon as you crack the bag open, any moisture that's floating around in the air is going to be stuck to it, right?
Oh, yeah, it'll instant. Yeah, definitely want to let it come up to room temperature.
Has anybody, so I've been on this kick lately. Steve, I'm going to challenge you. I have more faith than you do about CNC getting to a more user-friendly process. It's going to take some time, but I think we're heading in that direction.
Yeah. So one of the things it's going to take is cheap tool changers. Now I've been using the Rapid Change one, and they've actually got a new one that's integrated into the Onefinity, and I'm trying to get a hold of one. But those are nice because it's like, if it's integrated into the Onefinity as part of the sale, then the thing's going to be a lot cheaper. Like it'll just be it'll just be a thing. Like it's just there, right? It'll take that and a nicer way to hold things down. Vacuum tables are okay, but yeah.
I think so. Where I've been focusing, just my thought, is on the biggest pain point I see is setting up tooling, right? Setting up tool paths.
Yeah.
That takes a different skill set that everybody has to learn that unless they do that for their day job. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a very specialized thing. And a lot of it is experience. Like, it's all fun and games until the tool hits the material.
Yeah.
And and 3D printing doesn't have that, right? Like, doesn't have as many physics happening. So I think on the software side,
it's a different manufacturing process, which simplifies things quite a bit.
Yeah, I think on the software side, there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I hate defining a new tool.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah,
like it's fine if it's like an end mill or something, but put a keyhole bit in there.
No,
right. If you want to cut holes, if you want to cut those keyhole things for the back of a picture, it's a pain in the ass to try and define a tool bit for that.
Yeah, and for that reason, I don't do it.
Well, I do. There's times when you want to put one in there, but
no, I'm afraid that I'm going to get a nice, beautiful piece of wall art done, and then I'm going to punch that keyhole bit through the front of it.
Well, you have to turn it over.
You know what I've seen a lot of people do because of that exact reason. They almost look like the bottle openers, but it's the key that looks like the key holder. And
so you can put a screw in the thing and then let it hang, right?
Yep.
I just get the hand router out, and I made a little jig, and I just do it that way. I know I have a CNC, but
the hard part isn't the bit. So you can just convince your software that the thing is just an end mill.
Right.
It's to get the tool path right, because you got to drill in and then go forward and then come back and pull out, right?
We're still talking about routers?
Yeah. Well,
yes.
I'll see. Yes. What a dirty mind you have, man.
You're the silver fox. I'm just making sure. You want to answer this question, Steve?
Which question? This one?
The one that's in the comments right now.
You guys have any influence in X tools? See if they can do the last hurrah on the D1. Yeah, I think the D1 is dead now.
And there's a disadvantage on trying to extend that X-axis. The Y-axis you can get away with, but unless they make that extrusion bigger than a 2020 on the X, you're going to have problems with bounce.
Yeah, it's not 2020 on the D1. It's some weird custom thing, but it's still not going to be strong enough if you make the thing twice as long. It's interesting that they didn't announce that they're getting rid of the D1. They just quietly stopped selling it, which is kind of too bad because it's a good entry level laser and the thing is like rock solid. I mean, I don't know how old yours is. I have one that's pretty old and it still works like it's brand new.
I still have one. I sold one of them. I've got one D1 yet. I've got the Y-axis extension on. I use for port signs.
Yeah, I have that one. The same configuration.
So Samcraft did a recent video on how he treats his filament for use. Yeah, I saw that. But I have 13 3D printers. He's got like 30.
Samcraft started with 0, and then he went to like legit print farm. Like
yeah. He used to just do coasters.
Yeah.
See, and the coasters aren't making money, so he bought a print farm.
No. Well, he definitely found a market for. I haven't watched close enough to see exactly what he's selling, but he definitely found a market for something there.
Yeah, very cool. I actually reached out to him to see if he wanted to join the live, and no dice. So we'll see. Maybe one day. Hello from York, Pennsylvania. Paul Owens from JT Phonics makes a large format dial laser. It's 4x4.
Is that laser called the Onefinity Elite, or because you can put that same JTech laser on a Onefinity and get 4x4 workspace?
I mean,
course,
technically,
you have to buy a $6,000 CNC to do it, but
technically, I think I have the biggest laser I've heard of. I have a 5x10 foot laser. So, because I have a laser on the Avid, so technically it's a 15 watt diode laser, 5x10 foot. So hey, Paul, fly to Kentucky, and we're gonna make something massive.
I saw there's an apparel company,
wall mural.
Yeah. There's an apparel company not too far from me. They cut materials with lasers, and they make their own custom shirts. and they're like 2 sheets of plywood wide by like 3 sheets of plywood long. That's how big the bed is. And I'm like, this is insane. I've never seen a laser that big in my life, let alone to cut material. Like, that's crazy. Kathleen said, any suggestion on a workbench, Home Depot or Lowe's? I'll tell you what, Home Depot has this badass, I think it's DeWalt, where it has this crank and it raises and lowers, and it has like 4 drawers. It's like $250, $300. I think that's pretty badass. It's all metal with a wood top. If you don't want to build something.
I just made my own.
I know, I did too. But
and if you're looking for something portable, go to Harbor Freight and look at their U.S. General roll-around tool bench caddy thing or whatever they call those. Those they're not that expensive. They're actually pretty rugged.
Yeah, they have a DeWalt.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be huge if it's just holding up a P2. I mean, P2 weighs 70 pounds, but most of those tables are good for like 600 or 700 pounds.
Are you making fun of us, Steve?
What's that?
Are you making fun of us?
Well, maybe.
You said
if I have the opportunity, I will.
No, you didn't get it. That's an American thing. Huge.
Huge.
Yeah. So I said, are you making fun of us? Yeah.
Well, yeah, we won't talk politics.
Chris said, for keyhole, I just draw a rectangle 30 millimeters high by 0.001 millimeters wide.
Yeah, you can do that. I just go for like the finesse, right? I have this bit, and it works really well.
Yeah.
It's terrible in a trim router or something. You'd really need to figure out how to clamp it down. But in a CNC, it works really well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Silver Fox, the Coaster King, is in the building.
I actually, while I was posting the glass coaster on our Facebook group, I found a couple of slate coasters I did too, but I didn't show those. I'll leave those for the real coaster makers.
He sells lots of jigs and fixtures, D1, F1. I did see that. He like hit the ground selling jigs like crazy. And so
that's Sam.
Yeah, obviously you got some sales, and then he just scaled.
Yep.
So he's
good for
Paul,
him. Right.
Paul apparently is on his way.
Man, can you imagine that video, Paul? We did like a 5x10 mural.
Like a giant scale Mona Lisa or something.
Yeah, don't tempt me.
Like he's got enough attention. We might start a GoFundMe. GoFundMe Paul to make the road trip for the ShopTalkLive.
That video might. Yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
What you need to do is ask Avid if they will sponsor this.
There you go.
My wheels are turning. We could make it. We could make it happen.
It's really just the flight, right? He can sleep on your couch.
Oh, I got this couch right here, right there.
He doesn't even have to leave the shop.
He doesn't.
15 hours run time, no problem, bro. Go to sleep. I'll be in the house.
Be right here.
I got you a beer fridge. You're good.
Yeah. I mean, what's the flight? Probably from Belgium. Probably $1,500.
It's probably it depends. Might be.
Depends. Yeah.
At least that.
Chris said he saw a video of a guy cutting cloth 10 feet by 50 feet. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those machines are huge.
That's wild.
Yeah. They had like 7 women just on sewing machines, and they were, after cutting this, making their own shirts. So it's crazy.
I guess, I mean, if the table is 50 feet long, I guess they can get away with it because it's not like you're making clothing, right? It's not like it has to be accurate to within a millimeter.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So if the head bounces around a bit, you're still okay.
A lot of what I saw them do is like making those soccer jersey type shirts. That
like
are full
the mesh
print.
Ones?
Yes, full prints. When they print them and then they cut them out.
Oh.
Boy, you better hope the alignment is good when you do that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they do, like all day, every day. You know, that was the company and maybe redo my whole back of my house. Then I didn't get the printer. Yeah, I got a new door, I guess. What are you gonna do?
See, now the truth comes out. It's going to take a long time.
Hey, take a weekend to run.
There you go.
Sweet. Really cool. He's like, I slept on worse.
In worse, not on worse.
So really, the way this goes is like we need to make something for somebody. So like what you do is we need to pitch it to like a celebrity or something, so we can also get that the other part. So you bring in Avid, you bring in the celebrity, we create something for them.
Shaq. Come on, Shaq. He always does wild stuff like that.
Hey, yeah, we'll make something for Shaq. Hey, I know Jimmy DiResta has made stuff for Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq does wild stuff.
You're gonna hone in on that business, are you?
There you go.
What if we made Shaq? Hey, if we made Shaq, we could get his attention.
There you go. A big picture of Shaq. It's like
you can't ignore a 5x10 mural of himself.
So Aldrich said, I make a lot of wall hangings with the single keyhole. I do them on a router table instead of the CNC. Yeah. It's faster than reclamping down and doing a 30-second cut.
Yeah, I mean, I really mean to. I've meant to do a video on the router table I built too, and one of these days. But yeah, I'm finding the router table is faster for a lot of things. If you just want to run a round over around the edge of something, router table is way faster than a CNC.
Yeah, Chris said he also seen people making custom carpets on a laser. So yeah, again, people are just using lasers for all different kinds of things. You know, it's crazy. The Silver Fox.
But it's not a tool. It's not a tool.
The Silver Fox does Omni work on all materials?
The only one I've found that is, well, I'd say yes, but there's a but. When you do things like cardboard, if you engrave cardboard with a diode laser, you'll get a black kind of engraving, right? You're really just kind of burning off the surface. With a UV laser, if you do cardboard, you just get white. So it's hard to see on cardboard.
Yeah.
So it engraves it, but it's not a great result for readability.
You know, I've had this company like blowing me up lately, and I don't know if you guys got contact. It's like this handheld thing that you hold and you like go to the right and it can print anything.
Oh yeah, it's like a little rolling printer. I've seen those. I'd love to have one of those.
Yeah, so they've asked me to review one, so maybe
well, send them my way.
If you guys haven't got contacted, I just thought it'd be cool. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, no, there's real application for it, right? And like, I'd like to get like non-laser things that I'd like to get is one of those and a UV printer.
Yeah,
because you know, if you want to do a nice design of color on something, the UV printer is the way to go, right?
You talking about flatbed UV printer?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be. It can be like a small one. I'm not going to do posters, right? But
right. That's cool.
I saw one at an auction, at a bankruptcy auction, and it was a 4x8 foot. And I thought, man, I'd love to have this thing. I just don't know how to get it halfway across the country.
Look at Andy. Paul said, I can do Shaq. We'll see what we can do this weekend. Challenge is accepted, he said.
Hey, this is how ideas are formed. If anybody knows
Look,
me,
if you get like $1 million because Shaq buys a damn painting, like don't forget the little people, you know?
Hey, I won't.
Yeah.
But so really, I get excited about these things, like pulling off these crazy ideas.
No, but I could see Shaq buying some shit like that because he does wild stuff like that. Like,
yeah. I mean,
I know.
Can you imagine walking into? So I think his main, I don't know his main gig. He's still like an NBA, like I don't know, host, or he's on like NBA Live or something. Can you imagine him walking? He couldn't walk. I mean, maybe he could, but like a 5x10. We just need a shout out on like national television.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
The power of hashtags. We can post it and tell our subscribers to tag him in it. We'll get 2,000 tags and be like, what is this? Click.
Yeah. He is. Well, and then the other thing too, put it on Twitter and you get enough people retweeting that stuff.
Yeah. All right, Paul. Yeah. We're up for the challenge, Paul. Let's see what you got. By the way, everyone says you suck. Not really, but we're just motivating you to kick ass.
I don't think Paul needs that motivation.
We're motivating you to kick ass. You got to knock it out the park. It's Shaq. Yeah. So you've seen it here first, people. Remember that.
Yep.
Sure,
you got any other crazy ideas?
Shaq is the level you want to start at. You don't want to go with like
no.
Some B-level star of some sort.
I'm going to the top.
We got to go to the Superman. Shaq.
Oh, there you go. TikTok.
There you go.
That's the answer. Everyone sees everything on TikTok.
That's right. If I'm all for crazy ideas, so if anybody's got any crazy ideas, send them my way.
And you guys have any comments? Let us know.
I'm doing, but
there's already a Jackass show, just so you know.
I have a long history of crazy ideas. That's why I have 30 patents.
Oh man!
Send those ideas my way, Steve.
Well, they're all in the patent office. So you can just go look at them.
No, your next ones.
Oh, the next idea?
Before you patent them, send them to me.
You know, I saw that on Shark Tank that the Ring was on there, and they told them no. Like, imagine that.
Like the Ring doorbell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they like criticized them and who would want that and who would pay for that, and that was like creepy and weird. No, everyone has one, right?
Literally every, yeah.
Go big or go home. Exactly.
I don't have one of those because that would mean somebody would have to ring my doorbell.
Oh, there we go. Have I heard anything?
I have lots of surveillance cameras around, though.
Have I heard anything about the Bamboo Labs H2D? Yes, I have heard a little bit about it. But Bamboo Labs hasn't contacted me about anything. It's what it is. It has a dual extruder and its own AMS.
You want to explain what that means?
Much larger build area than the X1 series. So it's going to be priced above the X1C. Other than that, I don't have any more details on it yet, but I have heard a few tidbits on it.
It's going to be known as bada boom, bada bing. Just kidding. If you're Italian and you're watching this, maybe you'll get that joke.
There you go. Paul doesn't want any B-listers, so no Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, this is your world. We're just living in it, man. Whatever you want.
Hey,
he's just riding on your coattails.
Well, Adam Sandler only does his own friends. Like the last 80 movies, it's like the same people. Yeah.
If we're going to the top, we need to go straight for Taylor Swift.
Yeah. So if anybody knows Shaq, hook us up.
Or Taylor Swift, hook us up.
There you go. Craziness. You guys got any cool projects coming up?
I actually do. I'm excited. I'm not going to be filming this one, which I'm excited about. I'm building my son I bought some plans. I'm building him like this massive tractor bed.
Nice. The bulldozer looking one?
Yep. It's to be his first big boy bed. We're redoing his bedroom for Christmas. That's his Christmas gift, and so one of his Christmas gifts.
How's that going to be a surprise? Doesn't he sleep in it?
Well, we have our spare bedroom. So we're gonna turn that. He's actually gonna be moving bedrooms.
To be able to hide it.
Yeah.
Nice. So, how old is your son?
3.5.
Okay, my son's 4.
It's easy to hide things from a 3.5-year-old.
It is.
Yeah, I put my son to sleep in his room, and I wake up 50% of the time with him sleeping in my room. I'm like, oh, okay, dude.
Yeah.
And for your future benefit, Andy, it's also easy to hide things from 18-year-olds. It's everywhere in between where they pay attention.
Chris said, get AI to do Shaq, Taylor Swift, a duo.
Yeah.
We're not trying to get sued. We're trying to make money.
Well, she's pretty tall. It's not like she'd even have to stand on a box.
That's true. Right? That is true.
Yeah. Funny though.
Oh man, Adam who? Sorry, Paul wrote back one.
That's why he's a B-lister, right? Like
no one knows him.
Oh man, he's still kind of cool.
Actually, my wife and I actually went and saw him, his stand-up. I think it was last year. It was pretty good.
The only stand-up I've ever seen, I saw George Lopez, and I was surprised how rude he was. He literally wrote in Spanish, like swearing, saying like, if he catches you recording on your phone or taking any pictures, they're just going to immediately kick you out and keep your phone. And that's how he makes his money. So don't be a. I was like, wow. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, chill out. You know what I mean? Like, holy cow. There's on monitors everywhere. And then I went and saw Gabriel Iglesias. And he wasn't that funny. And the only reason I say he wasn't that funny was because I bought his DVDs. That's all it was. He had zero new material.
Oh, yeah, he uses the same material over quite a bit. That's a fluffy thing.
And I was like, it was funny when I watched it on the DVD like 2 times. I didn't pay $100 to be here to hear you. I already seen the DVD. Come on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But George Lopez was funny. I was just surprised that he was offensive like that. You know,
he's not getting immortalized by Paul.
No, sorry, George. If you're listening, you ruined your opportunity.
Clean it up. You're blowing it.
Yeah. You know, but that's the thing though, right? You know, you don't really know how a celebrity actually really is. Like they're a celebrity, you don't know them personally, right? Are they down to earth kind of person, or are they, you know, crazy? But yeah.
Anybody else have any projects they're working on?
Well, I've got one when I get back. It's a new dust collector.
Nice.
It's going to be a job. And then I do have a buyer, I think now, for my table saw. So once he picks that up, I will be ordering a saw stop.
You give it a DeWalt?
In there till January.
Yeah, I'd like to get one.
I have a DeWalt table saw too, a portable one that I use from time to time. And I want to put the big saw in the shop where we do production on things. I want to get a saw stop and probably go all out on it. Built-in router table and everything. Kind of like what I have now, but newer, like 50 years newer.
So I reached out to Andy via email and said, hey, Andy, I need advice on a CNC. Because where would I go any better than Andy? And I think I'm ready to make that jump. So
you gonna buy a CNC? I thought you had a CNC.
I do it, but it's a little too tree.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying, like,
yeah. Well, yeah. There's a massive difference between what you're considering and that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm not saying it's.
Are you looking like pro level, like Avid level, or entry level? Huh?
Like 5G level.
Like Onefinity. Yeah. Level. So what? Pro hobby.
Prosumer is the kitschy
mid-entry. I was calling it like a mid-entry, right?
Yeah.
It's not bottom of the barrel. It's not top. It's kind of middle.
Yeah, I would call the regular Onefinity the prosumer, and the elite is probably a little higher than that. It's not quite the Avid level by far, but you can do production stuff on it.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's actually the video on Sunday I talk about this a little bit. And so I bought a Shapeoko 3. I started on a Shapeoko 3 XXL, which is completely belt driven. And the X and Y belt drive aren't an issue really. The problem on that machine was the Z was belt driven, which was an issue.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would bounce around like crazy.
Oh, yeah. And I had a set screw that always came loose, and they fixed that. But this was back in 2017. So they're on the Shapeoko 5 Pro now. So,
and they've gone to ball screws too, right?
Yeah.
That was Onefinity keeping them honest, right? They were getting eaten alive by Onefinity.
Yeah. And so 2017, I bought my first CNC. The reason I share that is because, like, I made over $100,000 with that CNC. Like, I did things on it that I was, that if you go back and look at my channel, like making 100 cracker trays, I did that on that Shapeoko 3. So you fast forward now 7 years, and these machines are 5 times of what that machine was, right? And so, like, what you can get for a $4,000 to $5,000. Not saying that's cheap at all, but what you can get for that is absolutely mind blowing as far as capacity goes, right? So you're going to be happy in that price range, and you're not going to be limited.
So I want to expand upon what I'm already doing, and then I want to build on existing customers. So my idea is that, like, besides memorial stuff, a big part of my niche is obviously union and military, and that's because my inner circle, I would say, right? And that's majority of my inner circle. So like I make a ton of flags, and like this Christmas, everyone's like, bro, can you make like the union flags? I'm like, I don't have time. I'm pushing out all these coins. So I was doing all that by hand. So I want to start making the flags and be able to put the union logo in it, put the Marine logo in it, all these.
Yeah.
And then I also want to be able to do either raised stars, like actually cut out stars and then glue them on so they're raised. And maybe I can even do a slight inlay just so they're easy to lay out. You know what I mean? I'm not, it makes them easy to align it because it's just a small recess and then a kind of a 3D effect with the star I already have. And then I know I used to be big in a car club scene. So this area, I can go to every shop in my area and be like, hey man, I'll cut you custom speaker boxes, because they want underneath the pickup, they want that custom box underneath the pickup that they lift the seat up. And in front it says Ram, or it says Dodge, or it says Chevy, or it says Laramie, because all these shops, they do crazy covers. And if I can just cut that out and glue some plexiglass or just hand on the piece to front end and they put it all together, because you're doing business to business, I don't have to assemble the thing. I can just kind of give them all cut out and say, here you go. And that'll be high production work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with your skill, the reason I recommend probably going, so I'm a Shapeoko guy through and through. I love it. I have been, that's where I started, but I recommended the Onefinity to you, Rick, just because of where you are at in your CNC, I guess, journey. You have a lot of experience with lasers. You aren't brand new to the whole thing. Does that make sense?
Right, I get you.
And so I would go the Onefinity route, or honestly, the alt mill is really impressive as well. Look at Steve. Look at me, man. Recommending 2 Canadian products.
Even with those small stepper motors.
Don't even get me started. I was corrected. Same size as Onefinity. But again, Steve, and can you speak to like stepper motors and like torque and power and like there's so much to a stepper motor. I'm getting off topic here, but there's so much to a stepper motor than face value.
Yeah, well, there is and there isn't, right? Like a stepper motor is basically 2 or 3 coils, depending on the motor, and they just turn them on and off in sequence and make the thing rotate, right? So conceptually, they're simple,
basic, yeah.
But the ones that you would have in like a 3D printer or NEMA 17.
NEMA 17.
And the ones that tend to be in CNCs are NEMA 23s, which are a whole lot more torque and a whole lot more drive power, right? They're definitely much bigger.
The ones on my Avid are NEMA 34s.
Yeah, they'll be like washing machine motors.
Yeah, I mean, they're like this big.
Yeah.
But the big
they're closed loop. They must be closed loop too then.
Well, they're using rack and pinion. So the recent upgrade with Avid, they put a encoder on each stepper motor.
Yeah, so they're closed loop.
And so the ones I have aren't closed loop. The new upgrade they just put out are.
Yeah. For people who are not CNC experts, closed loop versus open loop. In open loop, the controller says move 37 pulses, so move 3 millimeters. In closed loop, there's an encoder attached to the motor to say, yes, I actually moved that much. That's the
It's
difference.
like check and balance.
Yeah.
Double check, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's also a big difference in those stepper motors and sound, right? Like how quiet or loud they are.
NEMA 32s are pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Or 23, sorry. NEMA 23s
I
are
would
pretty
say in
quiet.
general, but when you get, like with the Avid, when you get that much metal moving, obviously it's going to be louder.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is greased and sliding, but there's just a lot more.
Yeah, on my Elite, the only thing I really hear, like assuming the spindle's not running, the only thing I really hear from motion is I hear the ball screws, actually. I don't hear the stepper motors. They're quiet.
LTX Design said, Rick, the Avid 4x4 can always be extended to a larger machine at a later time, but might be more than $5,000 for the modular.
Yeah, so Onefinity's gotten into that game too, right? You can buy, like I have the mid-range one now, which is, and it was a space consideration for me, a 32 by 48, but I can buy the 48-inch rails. And
okay, swap them out.
Yeah, you can return the 32s and get the 24s.
Kathleen said, can you tell us how you got started into using lasers?
That's a pretty simple answer. Bought one.
No, I actually, my first laser was actually a CNC, a little 3018 generic that came with a 2.5 watt laser head you could put on it. I started playing with the laser on it. And, this is pretty cool, but I want something bigger. So I bought a Ortur Laser Master 2. And from there, it just kept going.
Yep.
Yeah, I was flying radio control planes and designing radio control planes. And every time I wanted to have one made, I had to go to a friend of mine who had a laser. And at one point I just said, well, this is very, very cool, but I'm going to buy my own. And that's how I kind of got into it.
I had a friend similar. I had a friend that had one that had a Glowforge. This was like 2018. Before, again, the scene has changed so much in a short period of time. In six years, laser technology the laser industry has blown up. Like, when did X-Tool get on the scene? This was before X-Tool.
6 years ago. They just celebrated their 6th anniversary.
So it must have been right before or at the beginning of. So I bought a Glowforge. It was a fine experience, but I learned a lot. I paid way too much for what I got.
That is the Glowforge experience.
Yep. But I liked their the ease of use. Like I always tell everybody, you can buy a more powerful laser for cheaper, but the ecosystem that they've built is really easy to use. Anybody can use it. I mean, my grandmother could use it, and that's how they designed it. So.
Since you asked about, or since you mentioned the Glowforge, is anybody on the live stream an owner of a Glowforge?
Did you see that cheetah Paul just posted on our Facebook group?
No.
Look at this. I almost have to share it on my. Look at that.
Oh, wow, cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
that looks like Shaq.
So I think these guys Shaq slam dunked.
I'm picturing Shaq like up on the basketball rim, like like Shaq like pulling down,
breaking the glass.
Yeah.
I was actually trying to get Kittle to generate a Shaquille O'Neal and Taylor Swift singing a duet, but I think they're in the middle of a software update right now.
Gotcha.
So Kathleen, my first laser was an Atezzer P5. And my first lasers came from my uncle seeing like all these Glowforge commercials. And he was on Techie, so he kept asking me a million questions about them. And as I started researching, I had no interest at all, to be honest. And my whole thing is I wanted a CNC, but it was just out of my price range. So to me, the laser was a gateway drug, right? And kind of, learning the software, learning the technology, and then I thought that a CNC would be the next step up, and then maybe it wouldn't be so scary because you're also building that clientele, to that. You're kind of like expanding upon your existing skill sets, expanding upon your existing customer base. Andy, I saw your video the other day. You said I wouldn't recommend someone purchasing a CNC and financing it.
The financing, yeah.
And just with wishful thinking, like I'm gonna be able to pay this off tomorrow. We're not pump and dump YouTubers. There's plenty of them. You can go watch their channel. We're gonna tell you like it is. We're not gonna sell you a dream.
If you're really successful, you can finance your second one. But if you're really successful, you won't have to.
Right. So
yeah, it's like, yeah. Yep.
Like, don't get me wrong. If you have one of those credit cards and it's like 3 years, 0% interest, and that's your way of spoiling yourself, and you're gonna pay your little $82 a month, and you're like, I blow that at McDonald's, whatever. I get it, right?
Yeah. And
but
so
if you're like, I can't afford to pay my bills, and I'm expecting this to pay for itself, you have to be able to pay for it, and not expecting it to make zero income.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So the key is that do not fall into the trap of thinking that the CNC is going to make the money to make the payment.
Right. Right.
Initially,
but it's unlikely. Yes.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 years, probably it's unlikely.
But it's totally possible. I've seen people do it. But if you are starting with zero CNC skill sets, and it's going to take time to develop those skill sets, it's just not going to happen unless you get lucky.
Yeah. Or you're skilled, right? And you sell a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my Onefinity Elite, I paid for that in probably 6 months.
Right, but there's also just
the first one, not so much. It took a long time.
But people just get lucky. They make one particular item, and it kind of takes off. But the problem is that when it takes off, people start copying your damn design. So that's why everyone's always saying Etsy and online's good. I'm not saying it's not, but when you sell locally, it's a little hard for them to steal your idea. You know what I mean? Because it's you have it right here. Like, here you go.
Yeah, if you find success on Etsy, expect it to be copied. Just expect it.
Yeah. Which means you have to keep designing.
Yep.
Jerry Long said, do you sell online or craft shows? Which is best for the new CNC person?
I think we just kind of answered that a little bit, but
both. Like, it depends, right?
Right.
I don't know. I don't do craft fairs, but lots of people do. And you can make money wherever your market is, basically. If your market is in craft fairs, then
my granddaughter does craft fairs and does quite well with them. I don't bother with them myself, but she does quite well with them.
I always say start with friends and family, and then go from there. But at the same token that I'm saying start with friends and family, also don't get discouraged if your friends and family don't support you, because you'd be surprised. You have a lot of closet haters, man. Like, some people would rather see you do bad than good, or they want to see you do good but not better than them.
Yeah. So telling your moderately conservative family that you're going to buy a $6,000 CNC is kind of the mad scientist thing, right?
Right. You're going to have family members who don't have a $6,000 car, and you're buying a $6,000 tool. You know what I mean? So just where everyone's not at the same level, and there's going to be some jealousy, some envy. You know what I mean? They'd rather go to Hobby Lobby and buy it and then buy it from you. You know what I mean? And maybe pay twice. But there's just going to be those people. So don't let those people discourage you.
Yeah.
But you're also going to have people that are also going to be honest with you and tell you, like, hey, you should change this or change that. Constructive criticism. And don't get butthurt over it. Just adapt and change. Fall forward. So.
Yeah, I think the location, kind of what Steve said, is the location isn't entirely indicative of whether your item's going to sell or not. It's about putting some forethought when you're creating things, putting forethought on like where I'm going to sell this, like before you make it. So many people make things, whether they're downloading files off Etsy, which is completely fine, or they're coming up with their own projects. They make it all, and then with no forethought on who's gonna buy it, or not like who, but like what type of person, And so finding your market, that does take some experimentation, but we talk about it a lot, but find your niche, create for a niche. Like Rick, you were sharing about, military and Union SEALs. Like, you're creating those things for Like that's what I'm talking about. You're creating those things for someone that like those things mean something to them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. If whatever product you build is the key market for it is like 24-year-old goths, right? You're not going to find them at a flea market or a craft fair. You're going to find them online.
Especially if it's sunny out.
But if you're catering to a domestic kind of customer, think coasters, right? You're going to sell a lot of those at craft fairs.
So one thing that, speaking of coasters, and I saw someone say, is that the biggest mistake they made with coasters was that that they offered all these different designs and said, hey, you can pick, 5 for 10 or whatever, those set price. And they got stuck with a bunch of random coasters that sucked. And then they had to clearance them out. So you're better off saying a set of 4, and they just have to buy them. If they really like it, they'll buy another set. At the end of the day, they're coasters. They're not $200 items. So you don't get stuck with, because just because we keep saying this, just because you think it's cool doesn't mean the customer thinks it's cool. Just because the customer thinks it's cool doesn't mean you think it's cool, so. But testing your market obviously would know, right? So you went to a crochet event show and you have a bunch of fishing and drinking coasters. They might not sell, but they might. Maybe the guy's walking around.
But engraved crochet needles will sell like crazy.
his wife dragged him there, and he's like, "Oh, damn, I'm gonna buy something too." You never know, but just saying. look at this one. Paul said, "I think I have a Baby Shack image with a Star Wars character." Oh man, he's getting creative out of this one. Thinking outside the box.
We've got to see that, Paul.
So he's not going to sleep tonight.
I have a feeling that we're going to see that picture if it's not in Shaq's wall on the back of Andy's.
Yeah, I give it to the end of next week before we see it pop up on the.
Gotta go for auction on the live.
I mean, the thing is probably what Belgium is 5 hours ahead of us. Steve, well, it depends where we're at, but like
it's 5 hours ahead of me, I think.
Can you do the auctioneer voice, Steve?
What's that?
The auctioneer voice.
Oh.
They go now go 5 out of 5. Can I get a 5? How they talk?
No, I'm not an auctioneer.
Sold $200. Like,
I mean, Paul is dedicated. He is. It's probably 2 a.m. in Belgium, and so he's already, you might as well stay up all night, Paul, and create.
He's hardcore. You might as well just keep working after this.
Chris said, try show on the lines word of mouth and find which one sells before you are comfortable with. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, don't make 100 of something on the off chance that it's going to sell, because odds are good it won't.
And if it doesn't sell and you got stuck with it, then put it on Facebook Marketplace and just leave it.
Get your material cost back at least.
Yeah. So I made these birdhouses, and that's exactly what I did. And I didn't make them again. But everyone on YouTube is like, make these birdhouses. They make so much money. And I don't know, maybe I live in Wisconsin. Sorry,
we missed this one.
I don't know.
But emotion sells. That's why you can sell to goths.
Well, yeah.
I think Steve has a hidden thing for goths, huh?
No, I don't. Apologies to anybody on the call who might be or has been a goth person, but I think they're a little on the weird side.
Rick, if Roger spends more time in Mexico, he may end up starting the Spanish YouTube speaking fluently.
Yeah.
So the good news, speaking of this, in YouTube, they're doing they're going to do auto translations, and they're going to do the deep fake thing, and they will post a video of me speaking Spanish on my video. So that's a little creepy, but it's cool.
Right before I jumped on here, I got that it's enabled on my channel. So I might be speaking Portuguese right now. I don't even know it.
Okay.
I was on the YouTube advisory board when they're asking us advice on all those AI things. I was for it. They're deeply concerned, and people are just not going to like it at all.
I think what they need, they always need an option to turn this stuff off, right?
Right.
Yeah, you give someone the option.
Right, and to me also just the blatancy of this is AI. So you're not pretending you're speaking layer. Or just like when I made that dubbed video of me with the stupid laser at the door, and it's like horrible, like, you know, like, so you know it's dubbed. So like if all of a sudden your lips don't 100% sync, like because you chose the feature, because I'm speaking in English and you want it in Portuguese, or you want it in Spanish, or you know, whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's probably more of a concern for the people watching videos. Because I don't know about you guys, I use AI all the time when I'm doing videos.
Absolutely.
Right? And it could be for thumbnails. It could be for, like in Kittle, I use AI anytime I want an image for anything. But end users tend to be, or could be, intimidated by that.
Yes. So
right, if you put it in their face. Personally, I can't wait till I hear myself speaking Mandarin. But
the trucker said, my neighbor told me I was crazy for selling 8-ounce flash for $25, and that I won't sell. And 2 days later, his wife bought him for Christmas. Maybe they were trying to work you. You know what I mean? They tried to side angle, and you didn't fall for it.
See, this is the passive sale, right? You go to the guy and say, hey, I got these flasks for $25, and then he goes and complains to his wife, and she goes, I think that's a great idea. I'll buy them for Christmas. Right?
So I got a burn.
Great market strategy.
I got a burn for Steve here. So Kathleen said, where did that come from, Steve? 24-year-old Goths. My
it's just a market.
Canadian wife was Goth.
it's just a market.
Clax
in the house.
Clax says, if you can't make money with basic tools, you're more likely to be able to do it expensive ones.
Right.
I bought my saw for the first years. You know, I saw this guy's YouTube video the other day, and he was saying that he first started off with a borrowed circular saw. Didn't even own it. He borrowed it. You know what I mean? So when there's a will, there's a way. And YouTube is phenomenal because you can learn anything. I truly believe there's not anything that you can't learn on YouTube. Now, I'm not saying some sources are not more credible than others, but you can learn anything. I watched a video the other day of this guy taking plastic, melting it, and making gas from it. When I mean gas, was gasoline, diesel, and natural gas. And I was like, this is insane. This is on YouTube.
I love the guys who collect like old circuit boards and get the gold out of them.
With all them wild, exotic, really dangerous chemicals.
Oh yeah, it can't be healthy, but at least you'll have money to pay for your medical bills.
Yeah. Or you can make a grill. 7 hours. Oh, look at this. Paul said 7 hours from your start time.
Yeah. So you guys are 2 hours from me. So
okay,
he's 5 hours.
He says he has to work in 4 hours.
He has to work in 4 hours.
Don't worry about
Paul.
it.
Dedicated, Paul. We appreciate you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Chris said, I borrowed 2 drills. Good day, Matt, if you're watching. Yeah, see, there you go. Exactly what I'm saying. So get in where you fit in,
my bandsaw, I have a Grizzly bandsaw. It's not mine. Why did I say my bandsaw? I've been borrowing it for 2 years from a friend. I haven't even bought one yet. He's like, I don't ever use this. Take it. So
it's time to move now, so he doesn't know where you went.
Yeah, I know, right?
Free bandsaw.
Yeah. He came over. I showed him the new shop the other day, and he's like, "Oh, look, my bandsaw."
I remember that. Yeah, years ago. I had an oscilloscope, and I loaned it to somebody. I loaned it to my brother actually, and he used it for a while, and then loaned it to someone else. And just recently, about the 4th or 5th person who is now in possession of it mentioned to me that they have it, and I went, "That was mine from like the 90s."
Yeah, I had that happen with extension ladder. I've been trying to get that back ever since. Like, oh, you got a bucket? You don't need an extension ladder? I don't have a bucket anymore. I've been trying to get my extension ladder back.
Just sign out a truck if you need something. I need one of those to change the batteries in my weather station because it's 16 feet off the ground.
Paul said, you guys taught me how to use the laser from YouTube. Nice.
Oh, good deal.
Cool.
Yep.
Clearly, we must have done an awesome job because
Yeah,
those are pretty fine artistic output.
Oh, I even get called out. Well, thank you.
Oh,
Roger's beginner videos are awesome.
Oh, geez.
Nice one. Nice one.
Nice.
I have to agree by that.
I do get some criticism. They say, "Why you make that so basic? Everybody knows that." No, everybody doesn't know that,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point.
I get criticized for doing unboxing, right? They're like, dude, just show it together. And I said, the only reason I do unboxing is because I think a lot of people are intimidated by the putting it together. And they also think it's coming from China and it's gonna arrive in shambles, right? So I'm showing like this is so well packed. And look, if you're advanced beyond this, then just skip it.
And not many lasers have to be put together anymore.
Diodes.
No.
Well, because they're not. You're talking about ones that have the enclosure and all that.
No.
Open frame diode.
Look at anything from Tour or
frame?
Algo laser. They're all together. You open the box and pull it out and screw the
Yeah,
laser module
they're
on.
mostly together.
Well, you spit out the rails together.
Like I remember getting these tiny little boxes, and you open it up, and there's about 40 parts in there, and you got to screw them all together.
Yeah, you're putting 4 rails and adjusting the belts. Yeah.
Well, you don't have to do that anymore. In fact, I don't know any laser that you would have to do that for anymore.
My first CNC took me like 8 hours to put together. There was absolutely nothing assembled.
The Genmitsu 4040 Prover XL, that took quite a while to put together too. There was a lot of screws. The irony was the Onefinity Elite, when I took that out of the box, there's literally like 8 screws.
Yeah.
And it's just so non-eventful to put it together. It's not even worth talking about. But I don't do unboxings anymore either. Like I just don't do them. Sometimes vendors ask for them, and I'll just say, like, if you want somebody to show somebody taking something out of the box, then go find another YouTuber, because I do it, and I just can cut the box open and take the stuff out.
Yeah, I'm at least courteous enough to give you the timestamp, so you can click it and boom, it'll jump right past it if you want.
Yeah. But the problem is people won't go past it. They'll go, this is too pedestrian.
They go to the next
jump. Yeah, I'll just go to the next.
The other thing too, I think a lot of YouTube viewers don't know, but if someone is moving too fast, you can slow the video down.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if someone's going too slow, you can speed the video up. I think I wish YouTube would do a better job of maybe putting that feature more prominently, because I get so many comments like, you're talking too fast. I'm like, well, you're in full control of like how fast I'm talking.
LTX Science, I wish my Avid was only 8 screws, more like 800.
Yeah, that was putting together an Avid. Like that's the bad part. That's how they offer the value that they offer, like performance wise at the price that they do.
Some assembly required.
Yeah,
lots of assembly required.
That's why I said some assembly required.
Yeah, but they do make it as easy as possible. They do have really good documentation, but it still doesn't help. You're still screwing 800 screws in. So
yeah.
When I got my laser enclosure from VCarve to do demonstrations on and everything, I opened it all up and took it out of the box and found that hardware package, and I thought, you have got to be kidding me. It's like the IKEA of laser enclosures. It took me hours to put that thing together with all them screws.
So lastly, Terrible at Fishing said, so he's giving us an update. He said, update, my boutique sales went very well.
Cool.
People bought donuts and money. My bookmarks were a hit, sold over 40 of them. Nice.
Anytime you can get donuts and money.
And sell stuff.
And and sell stuff, that's a win.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a victory to me.
V said, yeah, you can adjust the speed of video by going to the gear symbol in the top right. If you didn't know
the
that.
problem is so many people don't know that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same with a lot of the translation stuff, right? Like closed captions. Like you can take virtually any video on YouTube and you can switch the language and it'll automatically generate closed captions for you. And
so I used to watch my videos, and it would say what countries are people watching them from, right?
Yeah.
So let's just say the Philippines. I'm making up something. So I would go in there and I would use AI to auto translate my whole video, not just the audio or the up screens, but the description and even the actual everything you wrote on the video. So when they're searching for it, it automatically comes up everything in theirs. And I watch my videos like bump up big time in views, and then you would see like where the sources are coming from. So now I'm attracting like a bunch of people from France because it's in French, or a bunch of people from
The irony is you don't have to do that, right? Like you can listen to your video in Swahili, like you can like
right, but that's translating. That's changing the captions, but that's not changing your video title or the actual.
No, I think it'll do it all now. I think they'll do everything now.
Well, maybe now, but not before.
No, but early on, you used to have to, like, there was all kinds of these translation services that would translate things for you. Right now, you don't have to do that. Yeah.
So, but the point is, when I was doing that when I noticed that those views came in and they were outside of the United States, let's say a video had 3,000 views, they'd remove them, or they'd remove a lot of them that were not from my country. So I just stopped doing it, because what was the point? Even though I was getting the high views, that YouTube was literally removing the view count. So I stopped doing it. So I know
when I got down here to Mexico and opened up a laptop, and when I got logged, before I was logged into YouTube, and just opened up YouTube, everything's in Spanish.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Mexico.
Your IP address, yep.
So once I log in, of course now everything's in English except the ads. All the ads are in Spanish.
So now you know how Viagra sounds in Spanish.
Yeah, Viagra's the same. Actually, the what they call down here, they have a lot of signs up. We have Mexican Viagra here. What it is tequila.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that and Blue Chew, you're good to go.
It seems to me too much of that, it's going to have the opposite effect of what Viagra would have.
So. Hey, Viagra, if you want to sponsor us, always let us know. We got the silver fox in the house. You said cool and terrible. Dun-dun-dun.
Yep. These are pretty quick to put together now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the gear that I got a while ago, it was pre-assembled. Like all I had to do is stick the laser module on it.
All right, hold on. Chris says, "Does AVID stand for after very intensive description to assemble?"
That would be. Yeah, to assemble. I got you. After very intense.
Well, the last laser I actually had to do much assembly with was a mech power, but it's a class 1. So you had the enclosure to assemble over the top. It didn't take very long, maybe half an hour. But the base part of the laser, everything, that was already all assembled.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, the Falcon 2 is the same. And I had to assemble the top part of a Falcon 2 and a Falcon 2 Pro, and it was surprisingly difficult to put together. There was just lots of little screws, and it wasn't good.
All right, Andy, you're up.
Hello. Man, this question. He's from Canada, so Steve, go ahead, take it away.
Why? Because he speaks the same language I do?
I don't know anything about these Canadian companies. Nah.
Oh, well, I don't. I mean, I know Onefinity only because I have one. Alt mill, I know of them.
All right. So hello from Toronto. Wanted to get your input on the alt mill versus
you're probably not a lot further away from Toronto than I am, but
that's actually a good point. Yeah. Both 4x4. Looking for this to be my 7+ year purchase. So buy once, cry once. Mostly hobby use and potentially getting into small scale side hustle.
I mean, based on those requirements, both of these are probably good. Yeah. What I like about the Onefinity Elite is I love the Masso controller. It's just there's a bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, it's a lot nicer to use than the Buildbotics one.
Do you want to explain what that means?
So Masso is a company that builds the third-party controller for Onefinity as well as a number of other companies. But Onefinity upgraded from their original Buildbotics controller, which is a 3-axis controller, and then they went to the Onefinity Elite, which is a 4-axis controller. So, but it's got a huge display. It's a big 10-inch display. It's all touchscreen. It works amazingly well. So, whereas the basic Onefinity with the Buildbotics controller, everything looks like it has a touchscreen, but it's smaller and it looks a bit like a hack to get it all running, because there's a few extra cables, whereas everything, all the stepper motors, all the sensors, they all plug directly into the back of the Masso controller on an Elite. It's just a cleaner design, but it's a bit more money too, right? So
yeah. So since we don't have a budget, he didn't mention a budget. So there's two key missing parts here. I think you'll agree, Steve, is one, budget, and two, what is your current experience level, right?
Yeah.
Those are the two questions I typically ask. So, because again, there are other CNCs out there, but what I'm familiar with, Avid has a 4x4 that I used, or that I have, and I still have it actually, but. So
if you're a beginner, it's probably not the right CNC.
Beginner, it's probably not the right CNC. Go the opposite direction to one to throw in with the alt mill and the Onefinity Elite is the Shapeoko. Perfectly capable machine. Performance wise, it's going to be a little bit less than the alt mill and Onefinity, but user experience and ease of use, getting into it is going to be, similar, maybe a little bit easier for a beginner. They're simply like someone that doesn't have any experience, like Shapeoko, that's who they're targeting. And they have if you haven't looked at it, they have done a fabulous job of supporting the beginner with, there's a course that you can take. Like when you buy a Shapeoko, like step by step on how to get it up and running. They do a really good job of that. So pros and cons of each one, it depends where you're at. Every one of these is going to be able to do a hobby or small scale side hustle.
Now, as far as every one of those also would be compatible with the same software, so that software wouldn't be lean one way or the other.
So alt mill and the Onefinity, you're going to be running Vectric or Carveco. But yeah. So the reason I paused is I don't know if I've ever heard anybody that has an alt mill using Carveco, but like it's a lot. It's very common with. I know Roger uses Carveco.
Yeah, I'm the oddball here, so.
Yeah.
The Shapeoko is going to use their own software, Carbide Create, Carbide Motion.
Could you use VCarve or Vectric with? Yeah,
you can. Yeah, but it's interesting because Shapeoko kind of loses its flavor at that point, right?
So it's like an X tool using Lightburn. You're saying there's some proprietary things, the reason why you'd want to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's a lot of people that use VCarve, and actually next year I'm going to be using VCarve a lot with Shapeoko.
The only thing with using VCarve is it's everywhere, right? So if you then decide sometime between now and 7+ years away, you want to upgrade to a different CNC, you already know the software.
True.
Yeah. And so I think the interesting thing, like a lot of people, I was actually in the conversation with one of the CEOs of one of these companies, and he said that my, which I appreciated it. He said that my message on when it comes to buying a CNC, there's more than just performance. I think most often people default to performance, right? Like they're comparing how fast can this thing run? What can I do with it? How fast? But that is just like this much of the equation.
How easy is what you should start with.
Yeah, because the reality is that most people that are just making decisions on speed will never gain the skill set to run the machine as fast as it can.
Or the need, right? It's
or
like
the need. Yeah.
I mean, I could go even my Onefinity Elite. I can run the thing probably 3 times as fast as I normally do, but it's usually start a job and go work on a laser project or go have a coffee or something, right? Like it's I don't sit there and watch it and go, man, I wish this was faster.
No, don't lie. When you first got it, you had to. Everybody did that.
First if I'm cutting keyholes, sure.
Well, my mom used to say, watching a pot doesn't make the water boil faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
when you first get it, you're just like, whoa.
I don't do that so much with CNC because it's just a big noisy machine. I do it with I watch the UV laser a lot.
Nice.
Just it and the MOPA laser just makes like this really cool sizzling sound. Like it's very enticing.
So when we were making fun of saying that's how you focus it, you're like, oh yeah, I know that's a.
Yeah, well, that was I should find out if. Well, no, that guy actually did reach out to me and say he got it working. He got his laser aligned, but that was the solution was I just go till I hear the loudest sizzle.
Right.
Then I know it's in focus. It's true. But it's not right.
LTX Design said the Avid X controller is way easier for beginners to use than the Mark IV.
Mark IV, yeah.
Yep. Altmiller is a better value, but the F1 Elite is more of a robust machine.
Careful what you say, LTX. I said that a couple weeks ago, and I got a phone call.
So if you're going to say these things, get an unlisted number.
Yeah.
No, just say, look, if you disagree, then send it to me, and then I'll see, because I could be wrong.
The alt mill guys don't know who I am, so I can say.
I bet they do now.
Well, they might. They haven't offered to send me a CNC to do a head-to-head comparison. I would do that.
So it's really interesting. I will say, so when I got called out a little bit about saying that the stepper motors on the Onefinity were larger, I got corrected. It's fine. I jumped in. I dove into to understand, and I will say what I found, and everybody can go look at this. I just went to CNC Labs, which they make the alt mill, and I went to their website, and they have you go to the alt mill product page, and they have a write up. It says like everything you'd ever want to know about alt mill or something like that. And they are very, very transparent on the development of that machine, more than I have ever seen any other CNC company share. It's not marketing jargon in that. It's actually like we ran this test and found.
Yeah, you get a sense that CNC Lab is it's really tech people, right? Like they're building something because it's cool, as opposed to something that appeases marketing people, right?
Yes. And so I found that's the great debate. Is the Onefinity more robust than the alt mill? Hamilton Dillback just did a video on it that people might find interesting. If you want to go, he did a head-to-head. He has both of them, and so I would direct you in that way because I have neither. But
yeah, selfishly biased, I would say yes, the Onefinity is more robust. Right. But I do like what the alt mill guys are doing software wise. Like they're investing. Well, they have they open source their CNC control software, right? The loader, and it works with almost any CNC machine.
Greg said to add budget up to $6K. Currently, we have a Shapeoko Pro XL. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Okay.
I almost bought a Shapeoko at the time. So Clack is here. He's got a Shapeoko 5.
Yeah, Clack.
But when I was looking, it was like the Shapeoko 3 or something, and it was belt driven. And I looked at it and went, "Oh, that can't be good."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I ended up with Onefinity. It was just they had ball screws, and they're more accurate, and they're faster and quieter, and
a lot of people made that decision.
yeah.
Nothing wrong.
And to the benefit of anybody who wants to buy a Shapeoko, right? Because they have them now too, right?
Yep.
FTX Design said, side note, the building botics is terrible. IMO. I'm not sure what that means.
In
my
opinion.
Oh, my opinion. There you go, in my opinion. And the F1 just sits and collects dust because I don't like the builder box controller.
Yeah, I've never been a fan. So when I had the original Onefinity, I was never a fan of the Build Botics controller. It works, and the one nice thing it has is it appears on your network just like a device, and you can just load up files. Whereas with the Masso controller on the Onefinity Elite, you need their loader to do it. So I keep it running all the time, and I just drag files to it, and then I walk over and push the go button. But it's not as slick as the uploading on the Build Botics controller. But
I thought you were going to say it's Roger, as this comment says. Yes, kudos to Roger. Has been my inspiration in the laser adventure.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
It's not as slick as Roger. How you like that one?
I'm used to that.
That's FTX Side said, I would gladly start a YouTube channel if they call and want to send me a machine and go ahead with my Avid CNC. Nice one.
All right, so I'm gonna throw something out there. This is me I'm getting wild tonight. Like you guys are rubbing off on me.
It's crazy.
It's getting crazy in here. But should I and I want to know from people. Honestly, I think I know what you're gonna say, but should we work out like a head-to-head, like if you had, because I've been thinking about this. If I have Shapeoko, I have a Onefinity, and I had an alt mill, and anybody else that wanted to send one to it, and we did like this throwdown.
Same file and just run it.
Drag down, knock them out.
Yeah, and the hard part
CNC challenge, right?
Right, and the hard part is, the reason I've shied away from it and I haven't approached it is because how do I remain non-biased, right?
Yeah.
I'm a Shapeoko guy. I love what Shapeoko does. They're a great company. It's the first one that I bought, and I've used their products for 7 years. Maybe I say that at the beginning of the video, but then immediately people are going to be like, oh, you're biased.
Yeah. It's easy to think that, and I mean I like my Onefinity, but at the end of the day, I equate my Onefinity to the end of a pencil, right? It's all the software behind it that actually matters, right? It's all the VCarve, all the Vectric stuff, Aspire. Yeah. That's the stuff that matters, right? When you look at any CNC, it's a motor with a tool bit on the end of it, right? And that's the absolute simplest form, but really what makes the difference is the software. And if like I looked at, and I am biased with Vectric because I looked at VCarve or Carveco, and it does everything and more than what something like VCarve Desktop does. But it works in ways you just don't think normally, right? And you have to kind of warp your brain to make Carveco work.
Yeah.
And so in a sense, it doesn't matter what the CNC is. If you're struggling with the software, you're going to be doomed, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think for me, I like doing like being innovative and pushing forward. Like I'm constantly miserable because I'm learning new things.
Nice.
But
it doesn't sound like fun.
Stress.
I'm only like 37 years old. Look at this.
Yeah. So am I.
Jeez, I need to pick up my pace. No, jokes aside, but like the reason I share that is because like that's my heart, and that's the heart of Andy Bird Builds. Is like I don't want to. Drives me nuts just to do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to these companies, so I've had the opportunity to meet every single one of these companies. I have met them in person, and the people that make these decisions and that are creating these machines. And what I look for in a company is that exact same thing. Someone that is not resting on their product, someone that is continually innovating and pushing the boundaries. And so like when it comes to Vectric, though, the people at Vectric are that way. Like they are continually making that software better and like driving that product forward. I'm not saying other companies aren't.
But you've seen it firsthand, the development.
I've seen it firsthand. I've witnessed it. And so,
well, just the jump from Vectric 11 to Vectric 12 was crazy, right? Like it's just there's so much more that it does that it didn't do before.
Paul
go ahead.
said, sitting watching the laser topic has haunted me over the past few weeks. People get very passionate about Signal over the laser machine. Wow. I'm guilty of it. I've definitely, especially something that I'm liking when it's making. I'm just like,
there's a lot of watched pots in a typical laser workshop, right?
Cool. Yeah, it's not gonna go any faster, But I would also say that people think with a laser you can just set it and forget it and walk away. And when you're doing wood, especially
it's dangerous. Don't do that.
Sometimes you're watching to see if there's flames.
Yes. So
a lot of times I'll be
running and I'm in the room and I'm not staring the whole entire time. But I'm not.
I'll often have several lasers running at the same time, and I'm in the shop. I'm not like I go in the house and watch TV.
Yeah. I ran that at John once. I ran that at John once and came back to a hole this big in one of mine. Never did that again.
Ooh, hang on a second.
Chris said the problem with head-to-head CNCs is most don't have the space for 2 or more and 4x4 CNCs. So
this is why I have a 32-inch by 48-inch CNC, because at the time I just didn't have room for a 48 by 48.
Or they have to give you a building, then the CNC.
Well, if Onefinity wants to build a building in my yard, they're welcome to.
Altmill has 12 weeks lead time to be shipped out after purchase. That's another thing that honestly sucks. And
but that's not unusual. Onefinity is probably 10 to 12 weeks.
No, I'm just saying, it just sucks. You're like, you finally made the decision, you finally bit the bullet. They're like, all right, swipe. See you in 2 months.
And then the reality is you probably had to pay for the thing before it arrives, right?
Yes,
because
absolutely.
It's sitting on your credit card or something.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah, I forget the original Onefinity when I got it was like 5 months. Like it was a long time. And like I bought it in August. I ordered it in August, and I think I got it in like January.
Yeah.
January. Like it was a long time.
I'd be going nuts.
The Elite was 3 months, I think.
Man.
At the time.
Kathleen
They're
said,
better now. They're better.
Let us be the judge, Andy. Show us and let us be the judge.
Well, we just need to convince CNC Lab to watch these videos, and they're welcome. I have room in my shop now for one.
I know CNC Labs. I know CNC Labs watches or has watched.
Yeah, they're a good bunch of guys. Like they do cool stuff. For sure.
Yeah.
Chris Gallagher said to eliminate the bias, you have to have a neutral party decide on the project testing. There you go.
Yeah, well, and you have to use hard numbers. You can't have the touchy-feely kind of opinion, right? It's like, it looks nicer, so it must be a better machine, right? You can't have that. It's like hard numbers.
And that's the question. How do you quantify head-to-head, with hard numbers?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's obvious ones, like maximum speed, those kinds of things. At some point, though, it will get down to... The hard one to gauge is user experience.
Yep.
Right. Like like I said, I like the Masso controller because it's easier to use than the Buildbotics. But somebody else might go, oh, there's way too many things to look at on that screen. The Buildbotics just gives me one thing, right? I just have to push the start button.
I just had an idea. I know
but
what we do.
Yeah, user experience is the killer, right? For sure.
Yeah. We do an old-fashioned, like Dodge versus Ford bumper to bumper pull off. So I'm going to put a chain to the gantries and have them pull in opposite directions.
That'll tell you who has the bigger stepper motors.
Yeah.
Can the Z-axis on a Onefinity lift an alt mill?
Right? Do crazy stuff like that.
Dennis, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Late's better than never. Abbott should send Andy the X controller. What is this? Science?
That's CNC.
CNC.
Okay. F1. Basically, it says wants to do a head-to-head.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I would love to do that.
That'd be cool. Yeah, if there were certain benchmarks, like the exact same files, it'd have to be the exact same file.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why something like Vectric would be good, right? Because you can actually create the same tool paths and run them as is, and then say, okay, now with complete freedom, which one of these could I make better, right? Because you can go a lot faster typically than you would run most tool paths.
Okay, so this question, it gets me really excited. I don't know why. This is weird. I get excited about this. It's kind of like CNC Viagra. If Onefinity had not come out, yeah, I know, right? I need some tissues. If Onefinity had not come out with ball screws, where do you think Shapeoko and Alt Mill would be today? So, David, I don't know if this is a loaded question. I don't know if you work for one of these companies. I don't know. So, but I think this is a fantastic question because and I got a lot of heat from Shapeoko for saying this when it happened back in 2020, maybe. Is Onefinity changed the market? They really did, and they changed it faster than it was going. Like it was on this, we would eventually got there. Don't get me wrong, but I think we got to ball screws faster because Onefinity came out on the scene, and it's interesting. Like if you look at like companies, they should leapfrog each other, right? Like, like let's say, Onefinity came out with ball screws. Now someone else, if you just came out with like the equal ball screws, like another company did, and no other advantages or targeting another part of the market, that's really no good. Like should be another leap and then another leap and then another leap, right?
Competition makes innovation.
Yep.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Innovation, it drives competition, right? It should. Right. So when Onefinity came out with ball screws, it forced Shapeoko to do that, but they should have done that plus one more thing, right? The other thing I like about the Onefinity is the fact that you got like these 2-inch pipes, right? That everything's running on, and they're precision tubes, and nobody else has done that yet. And I mean, there's absolutely no play in those things, like none.
Herb Browning says, well, I don't even know how to say this.
Axiom
AR6 Pro. Any thoughts? I was offered one for $3,000.
I can't advise. I don't know.
I've seen these. I don't know why these are so expensive, honestly.
No, sorry guys. If anyone in the comments has one, you guys want to give them some advice?
Like they look solid. They look solid.
I've heard of Axiom.
They seem expensive for what you're getting.
Yeah. So I've Browenwood, YouTube channel I talked about. I went to his shop. He started with an Axiom. I don't know if it was the same model. And he does not speak very highly of it. Like he completely rebuilt the thing, basically.
Yeah.
And that was nothing against Axiom, just saying like just someone's actual experience with it. It seems expensive for what you get.
Clack said he wants to get his Clack Shack 2 building, and it looks like he wants to get a little taste of everything.
It's going to change the name to like Clack Shop then.
So I guess if it gets that big, it can't be considered a shack anymore.
Well, it won't be a shack because it's new, right? It's going to have, you know, like lights and concrete floors and real electricity and stuff. Right?
Paul said he wants to be the head-to-head judge.
I mean, Paul, I think if we pull off this shack, let's do it. But another thought I had is maybe if we get Shaq's attention, Shaq can be the judge.
Yep. So, Andy, I have to 100% agree with this.
Mopar's always win.
Mopar, no car, baby. Come on.
I was a Mopar racer back in the 70s. So
I wasn't sure if that was a typo or not. Like, was it Mopa?
No, because you said old school Ford, Chevy, like head-to-head.
Yeah.
So it said Mopar, no car.
Didn't they always say, like, it's Mopar or no car?
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. So that's all I drive.
Yeah, there we go. The Clack Castle coming up in the comments there. Yeah. Anyway, these axioms, I think they've existed for a long time. Like they were one of the early CNCs, and they were expensive then, and they just never got cheaper. And meanwhile, competitors have risen up all around them. And
right. This one.
Go ahead. Want to answer it?
Sure. His old job has an Avid 5x12. Nice. Purchased 2018, but hasn't been used since 2020. Would it be worth making them an offer? Why not?
If they haven't used it since 2020, are they going to miss it?
Yeah, I mean, I offer them.
Carry it out to your car like you own it.
What is it worth? Whew. What is it worth to
12?
them?
That's it's big.
It's a big machine. If you were to buy that new today, you're talking probably, I don't want to misspeak, but like, depends again. Oh, good thought. See what stepper motors are on it, because they have their pro version and they have their non-pro version. So that'll make a difference as well. I'm not sure what they were selling in 2018. That's why I bring that up. But there we go. We bought it for around 17. I was going to say 15 to 20. With inflation, it's probably 20. It's the pro. Cool. Sorry, I'm reading comments. I know I'm horrible at this, Rick. Sorry. Forgive me for my.
You're good.
But all right. So it's I mean, they haven't used it in a while. Offer them $5,000 for it. And if they come back with, hey, we'll take 8 for it.
Done.
You know, I mean, that is a very big, and if you have the space, I mean, that's a 60 square foot CNC. So
Cool.
I'd have to put my tractor outside.
What's the old saying? Is it always make an offer that they may have a counter offer? So don't start off at your top dollar. If you tap out at 5, go a little lower, so you seem like you're meeting them halfway, right? But reality was you knew what you have to tap out.
If it's been around since 2018, odds are good the person who bought it is no longer with the company.
Yeah.
So they don't know what they paid for it anyway.
Yep.
And you could probably offer them like $2,000 to start.
Yeah. The other thing too is they haven't used it in 4 years, and that big of a machine might be taking up space. You might be able to get it for $5,000. And the other think about this too. I just had this thought is if you don't have the space and you do get it for a bargain, they're modular. You can cut that down to a 5x5. You can cut that down to whatever size fits, because it's just, you know, the 80/20 extrusion that you can make it whatever. You're not going to be able to change the width, the X axis, unless you cut extrusion, but
the length.
The length you can change.
Yeah. Nice. So you can make it like half the size if you didn't have all the room.
Yeah, and if you got it for a steal, I mean, still, if you got a 5x5 Avid for $5,000, that's a steal. Yeah. Iceblade says, I'm the one that spec'd it and was the only digital fabrication guy. They cut staff due to COVID and no one else knows how to run it. so it's just been sitting.
That sounds like a bargain basement price right there.
Actually, that sounds like typical corporate.
It sounds like nobody else besides him and know what he's even offering to buy. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, just throw a bunch of dust on it and like sweep the floor and throw it on the thing so it looks all decrepit and unused. And
so when it's plugged in, it uses a lot of electric too. It's probably raking the electricity bill go up. Oh, nonprofit actually.
It's a nonprofit. So what the thing is anytime in negotiation, lead with the value, not the value that you want. That's in terms of how we think, but whoever you have to run this by and make this decision, you lead with the value that they're going to get. Like think about the space, what we could do with that space. We clear this big machine out of here and we could do, pitch ideas. We could do this with it and this with it and this with it.
If it's 60 square feet and it's in A-class office space somewhere, that's probably costing them like $2 or $3 grand a month, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Just to have it occupying the floor.
Yeah, and to say if some reason they come in a bind and absolutely needed the machine, they no longer have it, you'd be willing to assist them. There you go.
Yeah. Subcontract to them.
Yep.
There you go. Maybe don't even say I want to buy it. Just say, hey, we're not using this at all. We could use a space for this. And if we ever need it, it's going to be at my shop.
Yeah, I'll just store it. I'll put it into storage. That's the.
Oh, geez.
Christmas Light said, hey, I wanted to thank you guys for recalibrating my laser. I fixed the issue I was having with engraving doubles. Nice.
Good deal.
Awesome. Which one was it? Which was the answer?
Oh, yeah, because he had a couple different possibilities. It says 200,000 square foot warehouse. It's only used for storage and CNC. So they don't have a shortage of space, but money's money, though.
Who knows? Maybe they got 199,000 square feet of crap in there, right? And they're just looking for a little more.
Yeah, just if it's sitting, it's not making any money. So something's better than nothing.
Yeah,
just collecting dust.
Well, especially if it's 5 or 6 years old,
right?
Or if this person if this person's concerned, about liability, say, hey, boss, we have this machine sitting around here. Someone that's not trained on it could hurt themselves.
Right.
Let me remove the hazard. I'll move it to my shop. And if you ever need it, just let me know.
Yeah. I'll bring it back.
The piece.
And that's another one of those, and then move, right? So they don't know where
and move.
Yeah.
As he's calling you collect. Yeah, man, I got locked up for
transferred
fraud.
to the West Coast office.
Ask Steve for bail money. We're not advising this. But I would say just if it's a non-for-profit and it's a good organization and you feel guilty about lowballing them, then just make them a fair offer.
Yeah.
But don't shortchange yourself just because you feel somewhat obligated. Remember that, I highly doubt they're going to take the loss, right? If they bought it for 10, they sell it for 5, they write off to depreciate it, right?
Yeah, but if it's more than 4 years old, it's depreciated already, right?
No,
so
maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Negotiating aside, I think if they were to list this for sale, now it depends where you're at necessarily, right? There's again different markets, but I would say the general value of that they could expect out of that, a machine that is 6 years, 7 years old, bought for 10 to 12,000 probably.
Yeah.
But someone else has to disassemble it.
If it's in a 200 square foot warehouse that's just used for storage, there's another option. You could move your workshop into there.
There you go. Yep.
See if anyone notices, right? It's just storage.
Why are you at work at 3 a.m? No reason.
Yeah.
Get to work 4 hours early every day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think $10,000 to $12,000 I would pay. Obviously, if you know this machine very well, so
there you go. Let us know how it works out.
Yeah. But if no one else knows how to use it, then it's functionally useless to the rest of the company anyway, right? So
yeah.
So by that definition, it has no value to the company.
Yeah.
And they could use $5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah, and if they're just
Times
dumping
are
the
tough.
idea, they're no longer
Recession
pursuing
coming.
it. They could just be a lost cause that I'm like, whatever, just over and done with, move on.
Yeah. Boss, can you imagine what we could do for another $10,000 worth another $10,000?
You give me a raise for 10
Hire
grand.
a co-op student.
That's
You
great.
haven't asked me for the raise.
That's great,
Hire a
Rick.
paid
You could
intern.
buy the CNC for a bargain and ask for a raise because you.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm even bringing you in sales. That's not even my job.
Yeah, I'll buy it for $10,000, and coincidentally, I want a $10,000 raise.
Yeah. See, you only get those kind of tips here. Make sure you come back for more.
Yeah.
See, we provide help. What can we say? This is a helpful channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey guys, if you guys have this made it this long in the live and you haven't already, do us a favor. And if you're not a subscriber, make sure to do subscribe. And if you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you did join the live and didn't let us know where you're joining us from, please do leave it in the comments. We love to see that our audience is growing and where you're actually joining us from. We're obviously growing a larger global audience. So it's very exciting to see.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say what I'm going to make. I do have a late breaking Christmas present order that came in today. I have to do some. I have to engrave some golf balls. And the perfect laser for this is the Omni 1. If anyone's asking, I'll post some pictures on. I'll probably do a video actually on it, just so people can see what an Omni 1 can do. That I haven't been able to engrave a golf ball with any other kind of laser. So I have with this.
My father-in-law's like a kick-ass golf player, right? So every single holiday, like he could have won pro. That's how good he is. But every single any kind of event, everyone buys him golf balls, right? So I told him, hey, I was thinking maybe we could try laser engraving golf balls. He said, come here. He brings me in his spare room, and he has like thousands of golf balls. He's like, if you ever want to buy me balls, this is the only 2 brands I use. And all these other ones, I won't even use. I'm like, dude, why don't you return them? Like, exchange them. Like, brand new boxes and boxes and boxes of all these different golf balls. But he does want to tell people, like, that's not his brand, so he won't even use it. So I guess
that's golf, man. It's all about elitism.
Yeah.
I used to be a decent golfer, but now not so much. Bad back.
Hard on the back.
Yeah, I had to. One of the reasons I have more room in my workshop now is because I had to get rid of my golf simulator, which you never saw in videos. I never showed it in videos, but it was there. It occupied about half of the floor space in my shop.
I keep trying to convince my father-in-law. I said, man, let's build a little mini putt-putt in my backyard. I thought that'd be so cool. I said, let's make it a summer thing. Every weekend we go to a different mini putt-putt, come up with ideas, and then draw it up. And
well, you got to have a windmill. That's key.
I have a windmill.
Yeah, but you got to be able to shoot golf balls through it.
Well, I won't figure that part out, but I have a 115-foot windmill.
Dale's got one last question down there for us.
All right.
Ooh, partly due to my advice, Dale decided to purchase his first CNC router, a used Shapeoko 3XL, ordered the BitRunner V2 and BitZero V2. Should I invest in Carbide Create Pro or VCarve? If you are thinking about going to Carbide Create Pro, I would just make the jump to VCarve.
Can you explain the difference for other people who may not know, Andy?
I don't know the price of Carbide Create Pro off the top of my head.
No, well, what would not necessarily the price, but what would make you say lean one way or the other as far as software advantage?
Well, so the way I look at it is VCarve, which the name of the company is Vectric. They are a software company. That's all they do is they make software. Carbide Create and Carbide Create Pro are made by Carbide 3D, which are the makers of the Shapeoko. They make their whole ecosystem. So they've written their own software. but they also design CNC machines and all these other things. So what I say is all roads lead to Vectric. That's where everybody ends up, just because of usability, ease of use, the robust, the amount of projects out there, the robust community.
Does Carbide Create have support for toolbit libraries? Like I can go to Amana and I can download the entire toolbit library for VCarve.
They do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, they do. Now it's really hard. Like, I mean, I could sit down and have an hour conversation. This question that you asked, Rick, like the difference between the two, we could have an hour conversation just on that, and like show the different softwares, as far as like the different tool paths and just the workflow. It's really hard, Steve. I don't know if you ever like answering this question. How do you explain the workflow of a software when that's one of the, we talked about user experience.
Yeah, this is that usability perspective,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And like I said, my impression of Carveco, which, granted, it's probably jaded, it was that it forces me to think in ways I don't want to think. Right, it's not natural to me. Whereas everything I ever did in VCarve is exactly how I would expect it to be.
Yeah. Now, if you're gonna Carbide Create, don't hold me to this, but the last time I checked, the difference between Carbide Create and Carbide Create Pro is one of the main differences is 3D machining, so 2.5D machining. But Carbide Create, like I said, I used Carbide Create for the first 3 years I had a CNC machine, and it was fine. It was fine. I didn't switch to Vectric until I got my Avid. And I've used both. And the ease of use, how powerful the software is, innovation, how there are tool paths in Vectric that you can do really, really cool things that aren't in Carbide Create Pro. Now, all the basic stuff is there, but Vectric keeps pushing the boundary, and they definitely are the leader in CNC software.
Yeah, I'm thinking inlay. My favorite new tool path in VCarve 12, right? It's a
inlay
single
tool
thing, right?
Which I believe Carbide Create has a 3D. They came out with one as well. I'm not sure. But like sketch carving, have you done anything with sketch carving yet, Steve?
No, it's not my jam.
Yeah, but that toolpath does not exist in any other software.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few things in there that I haven't seen. Certainly, Carveco doesn't have them. Although Carveco out of the box does better 3D once you figure out how to use it. Like to get what Carveco has for 3D, you're well on your way to Aspire at that point, right? Because that's one of the big differences between VCarve and Aspire is the addition of all that 3D modeling stuff.
Sounds like I need to do a video on this.
Yeah. Iceblade said it's great if you have a carbide machine or a machine similar to theirs. VCarve is more robust and has more options, also giving you some additional machining options. Both can be used profession, but VCarve is more of a workhorse, in my opinion. I just learned a new acronym, IMO, in my opinion. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You're so hip, Rick.
This is a cool comment.
So I did a 90-hour 3D carve of a moon crater. That was a scan from NASA did. It was in 2019 in VCarve. What do they say? If we can't see it, it didn't happen. You got posted on the
post it on our Facebook group.
Yeah,
you have a photo.
Yeah,
we got to see it. We got to see it.
I think generally, everybody has that same. You ever realize there's not a lot of divisiveness in like CNC software, as far as it's like the heavyweight champion of the world is Vectric, and it's like undisputed.
Yeah. But the CNC world kind of went in a different direction, right? They started with the Wild West, where everybody had their own tools, easel, and all these other things, and then they converged. Whereas you look at what's happening in the laser world, where everybody started with Lightburn, and now they're kind of scattering.
That's interesting.
Right, they're going in the opposite direction.
It's funny you say
I'm
that.
not sure which one of those is
Chris
healthy.
said VCarve for CNCs is like Lightburn for lasers.
Yeah.
The exact opposite.
It's kind of that way.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy to use. It works.
Oh.
It supports every laser or every CNC out there pretty much.
Andy, Iceblade said you have the image.
Yeah, I think he sent it to me in. He sent it to me in Instagram, I believe. Iceblade. Remind me where you sent it to me at. Yeah, I'll have to look it up, and I can share it.
Yeah, shared it in the group. But we did Instagram. He said we did reach our time. We're actually 5 after, and what's funny is right as we get to the end, rather than our lives dying off, the count started going up. So I appreciate everyone hanging on to the end. We are not going to have a live on Christmas, and we discussed: are we going to cancel the New Year's Day?
I think we should.
Okay. So New Year's Day and Christmas, we will not be on our live. So if we don't talk to you then, or you missed our live stream between then, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. God bless you and your family, and thank you guys for joining.
We have one more week though. We have next week.
I know, but some people may not make it. So I'm just saying, if you don't catch us,
and it'll be a special event because Roger's going to make a brief stopover in Illinois.
Yeah, I'm going to be there for
back to Mexico.
A little bit before I come back down here.
So one night event.
Yeah.
All right, you guys will say anything and close out?
Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, I'll see you again next week, but I'll be back in Illinois.
I will see people next week too, and
I won't see you next week.
Illinois.
Safe travels, Roger.
And the CNC manufacturers are watching this video. We came up the head-to-head, so you want us to do?
Yeah, I want to put the alt mill and the Onefinity head-to-head for sure. Maybe the Shapeoko too.
I think we're gonna hook a chain to the gantries, and we're gonna see which one wins.
Yeah.
Let us know. Thanks for joining, guys.
See you next week.
See ya.
Take care all. Bye.